All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson called, What If I Told You They Are Not Who They Say They Are, right? And this lesson has been bred from the way how now all of a sudden people are starting to talk about the small hats, right? People are starting to talk about the JOOs, right? People are starting to talk about those usurpers of the nationality of being an Israelite, man, right? People are starting to say that they're calling it the JQ, right? They're starting to talk about these people, and people are starting to get cancelled now. People are starting to get demonetized, right? Because of all of this anti-this and anti-that talking points and conversations, right? But people are starting to feel brave about talking about these people, right? But I'm posing a question to all these people that like to talk about this topic now about what if they are not who they, what if they, I told you they are not who they say they are, right? Meaning that the people that you are calling these things and you're saying that, calling it the JQ, and you're calling them JOOs, right? What if I told you that they're not who they say they are, man, and that they're actually really somebody else, right? What would you say? What would you say to that, right? Now, I've got a load of scriptures, like about maybe 10, 15 scriptures that you can't see, but I've wrote them down on a piece of paper, and I'm going to just start reading some of them, man. And I intended initially to read it in a certain way, but I'm just going to read them according to based on the things that I've said so far, man. This is Psalms chapter 62 and verse 3. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you, as the bowing wall shall ye be, and as a towering fence. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. And this is to can cover many people, right? But in particular, I'm applying this verse to the people that have stolen a nationality and claimed it as their own. They are not who they say they are, right? The world might believe that they are who they say they are, but they're not. And the Bible speaks about conspiracy. The Bible speaks about the stealing of an inheritance. It speaks about it expressly. So if you're going to talk about these people, right, that are calling themselves the chosen, that live in the land of Israel right now, surely you should go to the source of where these people are spoken about in a spiritual sense to see if they match what is spoken of these people, right? If you're really trying to get the answers. Now, if you're just trying to be an asshole and you want to just seem deep, then don't bother. Don't bother read the Bible. But if you're really trying to do an in-depth search of these people, you would have to read the book. You would have to see what the book says that these people would be like and the customs that these people would have. And if it don't match the people that are calling themselves that stuff today, then they obviously ain't the people, man. For example, you're not supposed to decide whether you're an Israelite or not based off your mother. You're supposed to decide whether you're an Israelite or not based off your father. Are those people in the land doing that? No, they're not. No, they're not, man. If you break the laws as an Israelite, you're supposed to get cursed, according to the Bible. You're not supposed to be able to have the ability to cancel people. Are the people over there in the land doing that? No, they're not. Psalm 64 and verse 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bow to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly they shoot at him and not fear. And that's what's happening. Despite whether people want to believe it or not, there's been a global conspiracy to shut down, to hide the true nationality of the Israelites. And the ability to be able to do this took place during the Atlantic slave trade, right? When the so-called Negroes were in hardcore captivity. When the Native Americans, who are also Israelites, was getting conquered and having their land stolen, and as well as the Latinos, who are also Israelites, man. But people want to talk about the whole JQ, and they want to talk about the J-wish question, right? But they don't want to really go deep into it, though. When they start hearing this stuff, they switch off because they want to stay hating us. at the same time, and they don't want to believe that the people that they've got a grievance with are not really Israelites, they're actually Edomites, right? And they don't want to believe that the people that they also hate even more than them people, us Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, that we're in fact the real Israelites. They don't want to believe that. They ain't deep enough to go there, right? But again, the question is, what if I told you that they are not who they say they are, man? What would you say? Verse 5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. And part of that evil matter was to steal a group of people's nationality away from them and give them a fake nationality of black, red Indians, Native Americans, Mexicans, instead of their actual genuine nationalities, man. They commune of laying stairs privily, they say who shall see them, and that's what they thought. But now it's actually taking place where people are seeing them. And that goes into a prophecy that I'm about to read in the book of Obadiah. They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep, and it's a deep thing that they've did in this whole thing to steal a people's nationality away from them, man. Because everyone knows that black is not a nationality, and everyone's fascinated with these people that are called black, and everyone's fascinated with these people that are called Mexican and Latinos. The Latino woman might be considered the most attractive woman in this world right now. That's the main woman that all men of this world will find attractive. It's definitely not the so-called black woman right now. It might be the Latino woman that's actually considered the most attractive among all women, man. It very well might be. And everyone's fascinated with the Native Americans because they're literally living on their stolen land is the most gloried place in the world right now. The land that was stolen from them. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith Yahweh concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And that thing right there that I just read is what we're seeing take place in this world, by where it seems as though everyone's got a problem to point out at the chosen people, and that now they're realizing that the chosen people are running everything and running all that. But really, those people are not the chosen people, and they are actually the Edomites, right? And the Edomites are being greatly despised because they deserve to be greatly despised because they do no good. But in their craftiness, they've tried to make that seem as though, oh, this is a hatred against the chosen, but really, it's a hatred against Esau. And that's what we're seeing now. People ain't going to believe that. But that's what we're seeing, man. That's actually what's taking place. And again, the question is, what if I told you they are not who they say they are? If someone's actually a person that's a deep thinker, then they're going to consider these things. But if you're just a person that you want to just try and say, okay, these people run everything, blah, blah, and you don't want to really think that they might not be who they say they are, right? That they are actually another nation pretending to be another one, well, then you ain't as deep as you think you are if you ain't even prepared to consider that. If you ain't prepared to even consider that, then you ain't real, man. Because you'll consider every other conspiracy theory. You'd believe that a spaceship got shot down and it's in Area 51. You'll believe that potentially. You'd believe that there's little green men with big eyes that are flying space saucers in the sky. You believe that. You'd believe that maybe the changing of food to try and alter people's minds. You believe that there's an agenda for LG3PTT CP in the music industry. You'd believe that, but then you won't believe that. So you ain't that deep, then are you? Verse 3, the pride of thine height hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's what they thought when they came up with this crafty deception to steal this away, right? Now, some of you people might say, well, if you're the chosen, then why aren't you in the land? Well, I've got a Bible verse for that. Because we already know you people think you'll say, well, if you're the chosen, then how comes you ain't even in your own land then? Okay. Well, let's see what the Bible says in regards to that. Let's see. Let's just have a gander. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because the enemy has said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. And what is that talking about? The ancient high places, the great places of the ancient lands of Israel, the land of Israel, all those ancient high places that the Israelites used to have, they're now ours in possession, right? And who's the enemy, the number one enemy of the Israelites? It's the Edomites. So there's a Bible verse here and there's a prophecy saying that there was going to come a time where the enemy of the Israelites had possession of their high places, meaning that the Israelites didn't have possession of them. Is that taking place right now? Or has it already came and gone? Did it only take place once in the history of the Israelites? Or was it going to take place several times? And if you're going to say it's took place several times, which you can't, if you're a person that understands the history of the Israelites, you would have to admit that this has happened, that the Israelites have not had possession of their land more than once. But what time is this time that I'm reading right now talking about? Is it talking about now? Or is it talking about a time that's already came and gone? I'm saying that it's talking about now. But what are you people saying? Because it's easy to just disregard whatever somebody other person says. But what do you think it means though? For all you conspiracy theory people out there, do you believe this? And again, the question, what if I told you that they are not who they say they are? Would you believe me? Would you believe that? Or would you say, nah, they are who they say they are? What would you say? Verse 3, prophesy, therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh to the mountains and to the hills. So this is talking about the land. To the mountains, to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which are became a prey and a derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about, meaning that the heathens own them now, not the real Israelites. So are you people, is this happening now? Is that what we're seeing take place in that land? Where all these different people are fighting over that land and there ain't no peace there? Is because that's what it looks like to me, clearly. But you people will say, oh no, they're just they're trying to steal that. No. Both of the people, both of the inhabitants right now, all of the different inhabitants that are over there, it's not their land. It belongs to somebody else. And the prophecy proves that, because it says in the prophecy that I'm reading right now, at the last part of this chapter, that the land was going to be like the Garden of Eden when the Israelites got back there. And you know what? Since I've said that, let me show it. Let me show it, man. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 35. And they shall say, this land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden, and the waste and the desolate ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. That damn sure ain't talking about what's happening over there right now. And why is that not been fulfilled if they're true inhabitants over there? So again, what if I told you they are not who they say they are? What would you say, man? Would you believe me? Or are you going to say, nah, this guy's chatting shit? What are you going to say? You'll believe plenty of other conspiracy theories, right? You believe that there's a conspiracy out there to try and steal money from men on spousal support, to ruin men in divorces, and you'll say, oh yeah, men shouldn't get married. But would you believe this when it comes to this topic? Or is this too deep for you to believe that? Is it too deep for you to believe that the people that you want to believe are black, right, are really Israelites? Is that too deep for you to understand that that's a possibility? Or is that just so far-fetched in your dumb mind that you don't think that that's possible? But the different terms that these people that the world likes to call black have been changed so many times. The people that are called Native Americans, they've been called plenty of things. Red man, the red man, and red Indians and all this. Mate, they ain't nothing red about them. There's a whole group of people that are really red for real, that get burnt in the sun and they go red for real, that they don't never get called red. So again, what if I told you they are not who they say they are, man? What would you say? Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 5. Thus saith Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. Now, who's Idumea? Idumea are the Edomites, who are the number one enemy of the Israelites, man, which have appointed my land into their possession. So it's saying that the land somehow ended up in the hands of the Edomites. And how did this come to happen? How? How is it that the Israelites ended up not in the land? Well, this chapter even goes into that, man. Right? The chapter goes into that too also, which I'll read. Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast out for a prey. Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen, because the nations that land doesn't belong to are doing their wicked ass customs over there, things that Yahweh didn't want to take place over there, things that Yahweh warned the Israelites to not do when they ended up getting in that land after he took the other inhabitants that were doing wickedness over there and removed them out of the land, which is the reason why the Canaanites got taken out of the land anyway, because they was doing wickedness, which is what Abraham, the forefather of both the Israelites and the Edomites and the Ishmaelites, but they wasn't all given the chosen line. The Israelites was given that privilege. But the forefather of all of those people that I just mentioned, he was told that the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet fulfilled, and Amorites are a tribe or a part of the Canaanite nation, man. The iniquity of them was not yet fulfilled, meaning that they were still had to do a bit more wickedness before the Israelites could have the land given to them, because the current inhabitants did such wickedness that they was removed. But most people ain't gonna believe this. They're gonna say, nah, that's not it. They don't want to believe. They only wanted to believe certain conspiracies up to a certain point. They don't ever want to believe a certain conspiracy to make them change their minds in regards to how much they hate us. They don't want to believe that we're cursed, and that the reason why we're so downtrodden as a people with all the talent that we've got is because we get cursed by the Lord for doing wickedness. They don't want to believe that. They don't want to believe that the reason why the so-called black woman can't grow no hair is because God cursed her because of her pride and arrogant nature. Even though on all these podcasts you can clearly see the arrogance of the so-called black woman and see that she needed something to humble her. And how much more than kick a woman where it hurts in her hair, especially when women love their hair, especially the so-called black woman. No other woman loves hair more than the so-called black woman, man. The so-called black woman is the most hair-loving of all. And that's why even among the tribes of Israel, she's the main one that faced that curse, man. She's the main one. Now, let me go to this, right? Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 15. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, right? And this is going into the Edomites. They enjoyed the time when we got taken down in the Atlantic slave trade, which they did it, by the way. They enjoyed then going and getting our land from us, man. And they was able to achieve it in their completion at around 1919. And then in 1948, they really was able to stick their claws in further, man. But people don't want to believe that's what happened. They don't want to believe that. But that is this is the truth that you're hearing in your ears, man. This is that extra part in relation to the JQ that you people don't consider, man. You don't want to consider this. But then let me ask you people a question. What did Kanye West do that was so controversial? What did Nick Cannon do that was so controversial? What was it that they were speaking about that was so controversial? What was they talking about? What did they say? What did Kyrie Irving say that was so controversial? Huh? What was it that they said that was just so far-fetched that they have to get cancelled? As if people ain't said way more outlandish things than that. What was it that they said? Didn't they say that I'm a Jew, I'm an Israelite? Wasn't that what they said? That black people are the Israelites. Wasn't that the point that they was making? Isn't that the point that made all that cancellation take place? Verse 15 again. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. right? The Edomites hate the Israelites' guts, man. And that's why all you people out there, now whenever we say that it's been so-called white people that have did something to us, right? You want to go and say, no, it weren't them. It's the JOOs, it's the small hats that do it. As if that's a difference. It's a difference to you because you don't know what's going on. But when you read the Bible, among the Edomite class, there's several times where Edomites are mentioned, but then there's this other group that are called Amalek, right? And Amalek are still Edomites, but they're sometimes mentioned singular for their hatred to Israel. So among you that are not knowledgeable on this topic in its inner depths, you'll say, okay, Amalek's, you'll say in the Bible, Amalek's different to Esau. No, it's not. They're still all Edomites, but Amalek is sometimes mentioned alone because they have even more of a vast hatred for Israelites more than the other Edomites, man. But they're still all Edomites though. So they're all to blame still. Because they still have used the other Edomites to help them in their hatred. Now that I've said that, let me prove the point, man. Because when it mentions the enemies of Israel in Psalms 83, Esau and Amalek get mentioned separately, but yet they're still both the same people. Psalms 83 and verse 2, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now, how can you get around that? That in the Bible it says that nations was going to set themselves up to make the name of Israel be no more in remembrance, meaning that they was going to try and find how is it possible to make the name of Israel be no more in remembrance when there's literally a nation that calls themselves Israel? What would you have to do to the nation that calls themselves Israel then? Wouldn't you have to find a way to break them down and make them not remember who they are? Wouldn't you have to make them not know? Because it wouldn't matter whether you among yourselves want to say, oh, Israelites don't exist no more. We don't believe that, if you can't stop them from saying it among themselves. So you'd have to find a way to make them not remember, right? You'd have to find a way to make them forget, wouldn't you? And that leads me to this scripture here, which is also part of the list. Jeremiah 17 and 4, right? And thou even thyself shall discontinue from the heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. So Yahweh is going to give their enemies, the Israelites' enemies, power over them, and also at the same time cause them to discontinue from their heritage. And we've read about how the Israelites was going to have enemies that was going to try and make the name of Israel be no more remembrance. This is all talking about the same thing. And again, I'm going to ask the question, what if I told you that they are not who they say they are? What if those people that you're saying, asking the JQ about, what if they're not who they say they are, man? What if there's someone else? What if they are, in fact, the Edomites, the number one enemy of the Israelites, and if they did, in fact, steal the Negro, Latino, and Native Americans' nationality away from them, and you calling the real Israelites, the true descendants of Israel, black niggers, criminals? And what if they beat these people down so bad that they made these people believe that they weren't the Israelites no more? But whenever they tried to be the Israelites, because they are still wicked themselves, they couldn't do it, right? Even when they would always try and be Israel, they still wouldn't be Israel, right? Even though the world believed that they still couldn't pretend. Isaiah 26 and verse 10, let faith be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. So even if you was to take a group of people that are not the Israelites, right, and are not made to do good, and they was to try and pretend to be Israelites, they're not going to do the right thing. They're not going to learn righteousness because they're wicked naturally. That's what it says about the Edomites, that they're naturally wicked. They were made to be evil. Read Romans the 9th chapter. The Edomites were made to be evil. What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath which were made for destruction? That's what the Bible says about the Edomites in Romans the 9th chapter. And if you don't believe me, read it. Don't be talking all this smack about the JQ and about, oh, it's really this is who runs the world and all that. If you're not prepared to go in depths of the book that speaks about these people and start really getting into it, man, you may as well just show up then. Don't try and just use this earthly realm to speak. You'd have to go to the books that these people are spoken of in and see what it says about them if you're really trying to go in. If you're just trying to half-ass it, then you can try and just, look at the carnal world and say about that. If you're really trying to see what it says for real, then you have to go into the Bible, because that's where the children of Israel are spoken about. That's where the prophecies concerning these people are spoken about in the Bible. And in the Bible, it speaks about how there was going to be conspiracies to shut these people up and make their nationality name be forgotten. And God told the Israelites that he was going to discontinue from the heritage that I gave you, and I was going to make you serve your enemies. So when the enemies got the ability to be served of the Israelites, that's when they was able to beat the nationality out of them, man. Don't you get it? But in the same Bible, it also spoke about how the Israelites was going to remember who they are too. And after I read the last bit of Psalms 83, because I made the statement that Esau and Amalek are both the same nation, but they are mentioned separately in the scriptures sometimes, but they're still the same people. After I read this, I'm going to show in the Bible where the Israelites was prophesied to rise back up. Psalms 83 and verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Who's the thee that they're confederate against? The real Israelites, man. They're all against them. And that's the nations at the elite level, because the lower level of these nations, if every single person in the world knew this, it wouldn't be much of a secret, would it? So the elite level, the elite class of every single nation knows this information, but the people among their nation in the lower and middle class, they don't have a clue. And even some of these people that think that they're rich, the millionaires, certain of these millionaires and that, I got a 1 million, 2, 3, 10. Y'all don't know. Y'all are just so zombied off in this world, chasing a bag, that y'all ain't deep. And then y'all, the deepness that you know is like, okay, these people are running the world, but you don't understand the depths of it, man. You don't understand what they're really fighting for. You don't understand the true depths and lengths that they've gone to try and be able to even call themselves that. You don't understand how much they had to beat down and destroy the real Israelites in order for them to even feel brave to try and call themselves by a fake version of calling yourself an Israelite, man. You don't get it. Verse 6, they have the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon, and Amalek, which Amalek and Edom are basically the same. They're just one. Amalek is a tribe of Esau, of Edom, right? The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah. Now, let me go to this, because when you go to these 3 chapters here, man, let me just quickly say something about these 3 chapters here. When you go to Ezekiel 35, it speaks about the extreme hatred that the Edomites have for the Israelites, right? That's the main topic of this scripture. When you go to Ezekiel 36, it speaks about how the Edomites and how the heathen have now got the land of the Israelites, right? How they actually have the land of the Israelites. And it even speaks in Ezekiel 35 about how the Edomites were rejoicing that they have power over the Israelites. In fact, let me read that bit. Ezekiel 35 and verse 10. Because that was said, these 2 nations, meaning the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom of the Israelites, which ultimately sums up all the 12 tribes, and these 2 countries shall be mine, and we will possess it. Whereas Yahweh was there, and that's how the Edomites treat the Israelites right now. That wear something to glorify them. Wear something that's made to use to boost up and to show Esau's ways in the world. That's how they try and view the so-called black man, Latino man, and Native American man. They have them Latinos working their ass off in America like donkeys. That's how they have them working, man. And that's the stereotype. And they have the black man as an entertainer. And they have the Native American man. They've just really did them over. They got them through out there, man. Just lost. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou was, and that's the main thing, man. That they hate, they're envious, really, man. Because no matter what they're doing, they still have not been able to get access back to the birthright, which is the real reason why they hate the Israelites. And I'm not even going to read that verse in this lesson, but if you want to know what I'm talking about, read Genesis, the 27th chapter and the 40th verse, and then you can maybe read a few verses up, right, to get that understanding, man. Right? If you want to really know the answers to this thing, then you would read it. But some people don't want to take it there. They just want to say the JQ. They want to talk about anti this and anti that. They want to say that these people run the whole world, but they don't want to go a little further than that, man. They don't want to believe that there's potential, that these people are not who they say they are. They want to believe that these people lie all the time, but they don't want to believe that they could be lying about who they say they are. Showing that these people are not real. They're not real if they want to be like that, man. Now, yeah, Ezekiel 35 goes into the hatred that the Israelites have, that the Edomites have for the Israelites, and goes into how the Edomites even stole the Israelites' heritage, right? Ezekiel 36 goes into them stealing the land even further deep. And then Ezekiel 36 later on goes into how the Israelites even came to be taken out of the land, and I'm going to read some of it. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 15, I'll read this verse. Neither will I cause men to hear in thee the shame of the heathen anymore. Meaning that there's going to come a time where the heathen nations ain't going to have no power over the Israelites. Over the land of Israel. Now, is this taking place now? Can people out there say that confidently that this is taking place now and that the Israelites are truly in their land? Do you people that believe in all these conspiracy theories even believe that the Bible is valid and that it even has prophecies in there? Because if not, you shouldn't even talk about that topic then. Just shut up. You can't talk about this thing, about that particular topic, without going into the Bible, man. The Bible's the core thing that you need to go into if you're going to speak about this. You need to know the prophecies of the Israelites to be able to properly talk about this topic, man. You need to know this stuff. You can't just start talking about Israelites, talking about Israel, talking about lands and all this stuff, and not go into this thing and not know that the Israelites have a legitimate enemy on the earth called Esau, called the Edomites, right? And you would have to think who they are. If we're the Israelites, right? If the so-called black man is the Israelites, right? The Latino man and the Native American man, it will be obvious who the Edomites are. It will be obvious who their number one enemy is, the so-called white man. Now, who would the Edomites' number one enemy be if he's really the Israelite? Who would you say his number one enemy is? Who would you say? Who's the person that's always trying to kick him down? Who would you say? Because then you have to filter them people through the scriptures of these prophecies. But you can't just try and make it like the Edomites don't exist. Who are they? And again, what if I told you that they are not who they say they are? They're the other son of Isaac. You understand? They're Isaac's other son. Isaac had two sons, Jacob and Esau, right? And they were fraternal twins. That's what we believe, man. Fraternal twins, meaning they don't look the same. They looked pretty much the complete opposites. Like it says in the Bible that two manner of people shall be separated from thy womb. Two different types of people, man. They're going to be complete opposite in every way, shape and form, you know? Now, this is Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 16. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way, and by their doings their wares before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman. Wherefore I poured out my fury upon them, for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it, and I scattered them among the heathen. And that's what we're seeing right now, man. The so-called Latino, Native American, and so-called black man is scattered everywhere. We ain't in our land. We ain't there, man. We got kicked out of our land, made to forget who we were, right? Just downtrodden. I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries. According to their way and according to their doings, I judged them. And when they entered unto the heathen whither they went, They profaned my holy name because they still kept doing more wickedness. When they said to them, these are the people of Yahweh and are gone forth out of his land. So people knew this. At the elite level, especially of all these nations that the Israelites ended up, they knew it. These are the people of Yahweh, and he's kicked them out of their land because they sinned against him, but now we're going to use them as our slaves. These are the things that took place, especially during the Atlantic slave trade, man. And when the Native Americans had their land conquered, they was able to just stamp these people out, man, and take away their real nationality, right? And give them another one. And because the Israelites was already continually always going away from their heritage anyway, it made it easier because the Israelites, every single time there was sin, was going further and further away from what their culture was anyway. But people ain't going to believe this, man. They want to believe whatever they want to believe, man. And if you want to read this chapter, you can read it. Because if I go into all of the points, the lesson will end up being too long. And people's attention span might not be able to match, man. Now, this chapter here, Ezekiel 37, is going into the rising again of the children of Israel, right? Them remembering who they are. Them receiving the message about who they are from the heavenly realm, ultimately. Right? Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 1. The hand of Yahweh was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass round about them. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord Yahweh, thou knowest. And he said unto me, Prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews of the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them round about, but there was no breath in them. And he said unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. And this is going into the Israelites, the Negro, Latino, Native American, raising up again and remembering who they are, man. Coming from a state where they were just smashed from all the different captivities that they went in for the last 400-500 years. And now they're rising up again, and the breath of knowing who you are is back in them. The breath of knowing who their heavenly Father is and why they're in the situation in this world as where they're in is coming back into them, man. And the remembrance of what they are supposed to, where they're supposed to be in their land, is coming back to them, man. And that's why these other people that are have been calling themselves the Israelites for so long are now starting to be looked at strange. Because people are starting to realize that they're not who they say they are. And again, I'm going to ask the question, what if I told you that they are not who they say they are? Would you believe me? Or would you say, nah, they are? You ain't the people because yada, 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 you ain't got the land, you ain't got the this. I already spoke about the thing to do with the land. In Ezekiel 36, it clearly said that the Edomites and the heathen were going to have control over the land of the Israelites. Has that already came and gone? If so, who were the heathen that had the control of the land? Who were them heathen then? Tell me, so I can rest my case. And if not, be quiet, man. Because this topic is far above some of you people's mind to know about these kind of things, man. You people will talk about this topic, but when it goes to really going deep in it, you haven't even considered that it might be true. You don't want to even consider that it might be true. You really think that we're just lying and making up you'll believe that we're making it up, that we're the Israelites, right? But you won't believe that they could be making up that they are. That shows you're a hypocrite. That shows you ain't a fair thinker. Because if it would be so easy for us to pretend that we are, And the only reason why you don't believe that we are is because we're in the land. Well, what if somebody else was to be able to lie and say that they are, but they was able to get the land? Just like how people in America right now calling themselves American, trying to make it like they discovered a land that people have been living in for thousands of years. Huh? You can't do that. If someone comes into your house and says, I've discovered your house, and your family's been living there for the last 50 years, have they discovered it? Or are they stealing your house from you? You tell me, you know? You tell me which one it is. Verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet, a great exceeding army. Then said he unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Has this happened yet? You tell me, all you people that want to talk all these conspiracy theories, are the real Israelites in the land of Israel? Are they? Are there some people in this world that are faking to pretend that they're Israelites? If they are, who is it? Is it us? Is it the so-called black man that's pretending to be an Israelite? Is it? Or is it those people? That's for you to consider in your mind, man. You're going to have to come up and you decide what it is. Because it's starting to become a real talking point in the earth on this whole JQ thing. The J-wish question, right? But if you're going to ask the question, you better have some answers too. Don't just, what are the answers to the question? You know what I mean? They call that thing JQ, the J-wish question. But what are the answers? These are the answers, right? And let me get a scripture. Because when these people want to talk about this topic, they don't want to go into no scriptures. They're going to all these worldly things, right? But they won't consider that the Edomites, when it speaks in the Bible about the Edomites, right? There was a people that were blessed with the sword. Meaning they was going to live through warfare. They was going to live by war. Are those people that live in the land of Israel living by war? Yes, they are. Why would the Israelites be living by war when the Israelites are prophesied to live by using the laws of Yahweh to govern the earth? And that when the Israelites was in the land, that there would be no more war. That's what the prophecy says. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. How much more clear can you get than that? And this is talking about both Israelites and imposters, man, that want to put on the title saying that they're an Israelite, but don't want to really be an Israelite, man. Now, let me get that other prophecy on the Israelites when they're in the land, that there would be no more war. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountains of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. People ain't flowing unto the land of Israel right now to learn nothing from them people. Neither are they willing to teach them, neither. They're very secretive in terms of even talking about that stuff. They're very secretive, you'll realize. They're very secretive to how they do things, man. Everything's a secret. Everything's some hidden, esoteric, weird knowledge. They don't really like talking about nothing to do with it too much. They don't like talking about it. They don't like talking about whether, okay, are J-wish people the same as white people? Or, well, the thing is, back in 1770, like, they just start running their mouth, don't answer no questions. They're very secretive. Why? If they're supposed to rule the earth, they should be open. They shouldn't be scared. They should be open and bold, knowing that God's on their side. The Heavenly Father's on their side. They shouldn't be scared. They should be bold to talk about everything. But they're not, though. Like they've got something to hide. And again, I'm going to ask the question, what if I told you that they are not who they say they are? What would you say? All you deep thinkers out there, you think you're so deep. What would you say if I said that? That they're not who they say they are? What would you say? Oh, I need to do more. Oh, nah, I don't believe that. You people ain't deep, man. Because the topic of the Edomites never comes up in any of these people's mouths. They'll talk about the JQ, but they don't talk about the Edomites. Why not? Because they don't even know. Some of these people don't even know about that. But they think they're so deep to talk about the topic of the Israelites, who they really are, and whoever the Israelites are ruling everything and they own everything and all that. But they call it that J word. Verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways and will walk in his paths. They ain't doing that right now. People ain't doing that. Right? For out of Zion shall go forth the law. They ain't trying to teach people the law, man. They ain't even all doing it among themselves, bruh. And now someone might say, neither you doing it though. Yeah, we ain't. Because we don't believe that we're even that far ahead in prophecy in relation to the Israelites. We don't believe that the Israelites are even in the state where they're supposed to be keeping all the laws. They're not even under the new covenant yet. So we will say that. We ain't got a problem saying we ain't keep. If someone asks me if I'm keeping all the laws, I'm not a lying motherfucker to say that I'm keeping all of them, man. I'm not a liar like that. I ain't gonna say yeah I am. I ain't gonna say I'm keeping all the laws perfectly, because that would be a damn lie. And you'll be able to clearly see, if you looked at my life, that I'm not keeping all the laws. But if you ask them what position they are across in prophecy, they're going to be secretive. Oh, well, we'll see. They ain't got no answers, bruh. They ain't got no they ain't got no answers, bruh. You know what I mean? They ain't deep. They ain't want to talk about the laws. They want to talk about a milk. You can't have some dairy cheddars, dairy donkers, and a beef burger at the same time. You can't have cheese on your burger and all that. They want to talk like that. Some madness. But then they'll have the moil, right? The metazizabepe. If that's the right way to say it, man. The moil will do a metazizabepe. You understand? Which is some weird circumcision ritual that involves using your mouth. Which is nasty, bruh. But they ain't talking about the laws. They're talking about you can't have cheese on a burger, but then you can have a code word for eating pork. Oh, can I have some kazeel? Oh, can I have some white steak, which is really pork? You understand? They got a whole book that ain't got nothing to do with the Torah. The Talmud and all. Like, there's a lot of secretive stuff going on there. They ain't trying to teach the laws. But it says here, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. But they're secretive with everything to do with them. They're very secretive, man. But the Israelites were not supposed to be secretive in the last days. They were supposed to be teachers of the law. So again, what if I told you that they are not who they say they are? What would you say? What would you say, man? And what if I told you that we're not who they say we are? They say we're black. My skin's brown. I'm looking at my arm right now. It's brown. It's not black. Verse 4, and he shall judge among the nations. So they're supposed to be telling the people what to do according to righteousness. If they're the people, they're supposed to be telling people the right way to do things. All that Tel Avivism that's going on with that HI3T, alphabet and rainbow, and that is supposed to be taking place over there. They're supposed to be the fountain of righteousness if they're the people. They're supposed to be the people that are talking about what's wicked going on in the world, but they're the ones that are at the root of most of the wickedness. Ain't that fascinating? They're the ones at the root of most of the things that are wicked in this world, funding it in some way. So again, man, what if I told you that they are not who they say they are, bro? What would you say, man? All you conspiracy theory talkers and that, what would you say? Would you believe it, or would you say, nah, that's too nah, man, nah. You're lying. You just don't want to be African. That's why you're saying you're Israelite, because you just don't want to be. You're just bothered about the Atlantic slave trade. No, the Atlantic slave trade is mentioned in the belief system that I have. Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. Simple as that. What are you saying? Oh, nah. You're just making excuses for why you're poor. That's why you're saying you're cursed. Doesn't it say that the Israelites will be cursed in the Bible though? Doesn't it say that? Doesn't it say it? And that's what I mean with you people. You people ain't as deep as you think you are, man. And when you read the Bible, you often find that the men that were rulers over nations and that were kings, they weren't that deep. When you read the story of Bel and the dragon, that buffoon king, whoever it was, he really believed that a dragon statue was eating all them food offerings that the people bring into it. A dragon statue that if its mouth was designed closed, he'd never seen that dragon statue open its mouth in his life. And if the dragon statue was designed open, he'd never seen the dragon statue's mouth closed in his life. But he really believed that the dragon statue was eating the food offerings. Dummy. You understand? But this man had the authority to get men thrown in lions' dens and had Daniel thrown in the lion's den for the second time in his life. And after he realized that the men were the ones that was eating it, then he had Daniel taken out of the lion's den and had those men that had deceived him thrown into the lion's den, and they were 8. Yet this idiot should have known that a dragon statue was clearly not eating food because it can't. You understand? Yet he was the king. So being a king don't make you wise, man. So for all you high value men in this world right now, they got so much to say about JQ this. And well, okay, really go into the topic then. Really start talking about all conspiracy theories since you're just throwing it to the wind. Really go in then. Start considering that even. Are these black people telling the truth that they're really the Israelites? Are they? Let me do some research. Let me do a show on it. Or are you not really that deep as you think, bro? Because as you people start talking about that topic more, you're going to have to address that topic anyway, because it's linked. The Lord's going to make you have to address that topic, man. He's going to force you to do it. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore, meaning there's going to be an end to war when the real Israelites are in the land. So obviously that has not happened yet. Obviously. Because not only are the people that are calling themselves the Israelites in a war right now currently, but so is everyone else. And it's about to get worse before it gets better. And I just thought I'd make this video, man, addressing this topic, because I'm starting to see that there's a big trend now of people wanting to talk about this topic, but how far are they prepared to go though? Right? And again, man, what if I told you that they are not who they say they are? What would you say? All praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Makar Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.